Okay, great afternoon. Well, we find out that they levied 38 felonies against 45. He did not have a mug shot taken, but they did take his fingerprints. He was not happy in that courtroom. You could see his little piggy eyes, just angry and yeah, he didn't get the big brouhaha of people out there protesting. Although when he was leaving, they did have protesters out there saying "Jail Trump." So Marjorie Trader Greene beat a hasty retreat, as did George Santos. They both left immediately. They didn't get the big, crowds and revving things up like they wanted. They both left with their tail between their legs, dragging out. Now, I wanted to pull cards on what happened in there. Now, I think there is some sort of a gag order. When Trump left, he left very defeated. He did not talk to anybody. He slunk into his motorcade and left. So what I got the overview was this was really crushing. And I think this is like the fly on the wall. Looking inside the courthouse, this was very crushing, heavy blow to 45. So going into it, this was cutting. First thing, very cutting. Things were anchored in. Looking at a new thing that came out, we're going to look at that. The challenge is short-term luck. And we have this wanting to control, okay? So when it comes to the cutting, above it we have the Pandora's box of things, and cutting 45, cutting him at the knees with all the Pandora's box things that he's been involved with. It could be part of that, and part of that could also be cutting his ability to be just flagrant and bombastic with everything when he came into that courthouse, because I'm asking about the courthouse, what happened in there, since we didn't get to have cameras and see the whole thing. But it was a Pandora's box, 38 felony counts, and they were just basically cutting him at the knees, okay? Now, when he was coming into the courthouse, the sheriff, one of them had opened the door and they didn't hold it open for 45. They let it close in his face. He had to open it himself. So anyway, going into it again, we had anchored in. And this was juggling these counts and this information. And this is bringing to a conclusion this segment of his life. So anchoring in this segment for going forward. They were giving the indictment, the counts. So what we have that's new is being able to start a new activity and with a kibosh. So I think they did put some sort of a restriction on what they could say, could not say, etc. It could be some type of gag order in place. That could be why he didn't come out and be bombastic and stuff. We'll have to see. But it looks like that's new. And it has to do with a new action and just closing things off. The challenge is short-term luck. So above it, we have this is a nightmare scenario for him when it comes to being able to put out his rhetoric. He's backed he's backed up against that, and all of these actions are coming, and it is an absolute nightmare for him. He had short-term luck with it, but I think, again, there could be some sort of a gag order, something of that sort in place, because we have here this wanting to control, and above it we have all these numerous things coming down the pike, and we have, now this could be the Ugly Party, but I think it has to do with the Trump scenario, his family, his organization, and all of that, and all the things that they're involved with, and his ability or inability any longer to be in control of it. So what we have underneath of it, we have the long arm of the law, information coming out when it comes to justice, when it comes to the information they have, the investigations on the indictments, the counts, the felonies that were perpetrated by 45, and there could be others, involved in this somewhere as well, and they're working on it, and it has to do with the Trump organization, the Trump family, okay? So underneath of it, we have major arcana that's driving this is justice, finally investigations into their dark activities. So that's what's underneath of this all, driving it. Now, what was driving the things in the court, the major arcana, was about 45 and bringing to its end this segment of his life. So that's what's driving this whole thing, this segment of his life on display. We have anchoring in this judgment and ability to control this narrative and controlling what is going on with the Trump organization, with the Uglies, etc. This stuff is being juggled. And about how he ran his organization. What's cutting is this Pandora's box, and being able to control all these things that are coming up, that are up in the air, that are still coming down the pike. This is just the first domino to fall of many. What's new is closing off, closing down this nightmare scenario. I think that he's not going to be able to just put out the things that he's been putting out. So, with his saga. So it looks like maybe some avenue to that has been closed off, whether it's talking about some background in the case, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like they've put the kibosh on some things because, like I said, he slunk out of there. Was no fist pump coming out of there. He just slunk into the things and left because we have this new action when it comes to his being backed up now. He's backed up against the thing, and all these actions are coming towards him, okay? So his ability to continue to put out the stuff that he's put out, these heinous things going after people, I think this is, there may be some, like I said, some kibosh on some things with him. And so we'll have to see. Now, of course, Tacopino and his monkey lawyers that he's got there, the chimpanzees, are going to argue for free speech. But it's not free speech when you keep going after people and doing what he's doing. That's not covered under free speech. When you're trying to lean on people like a mob boss and cause this wanting people to go after people, okay? That is not free speech. That's not covered under that. So I think that maybe some harsh things are coming down. We'll have to see exactly what was said in there. I could be wrong, but looking at the cards, that's what I'm seeing on the surface of it, that perhaps there has been some gag put in place with what he can talk about and what he can't talk about. So we'll have to see. I'm going to get off of here and see what else is coming out now. But 38, is it 38 or 34 felonies? And he had to sit there and listen to all of that, all of these felonies coming down. And he had nobody there to prop him up. He was thinking, that Marjorie Trader Green was going to be there and he's going to have crowds, out there protesting his being, but there was no one. Like I said, when he was leaving, they had protesters out there, lock up Trump, lock him up. So that's what he saw in his defeat. And just the look on his face, his little piggy eyes of anger, sitting there at that table in the courthouse. Yeah, and to see him just slink out. Okay, no big brouhaha. So we'll have to see what takes place. I really want to see if there's a gag order in place or not, and what are the specifics. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you online.